Welcome everybody to what promises to be one of the more exciting matches of the G1 League Phase 3. We've come to the end of Group A. Group B, though, has one more match left. We have got Invictus Gaming up against Team Zenith. If you take a quick look at the bracket, you can see that IG and Zenith both undefeated in this group, both sitting on 2 wins, no losses, tied for first place, and this final match is going to determine who wins the group, who automatically qualifies for the LAN finals in China, and, well, we're going to see who it's going to be. We've got Luminous joining me. I'm Gods from Beyond the Summit. And Luminous, how are you doing? How psyched and pumped up for you? I heard that I would have to be like sort of driving the energy in this cast. Hopefully you're bringing something to the table though.
No, man. I'm casting on pure will, but this game is making me... Oh, yo, your mic is going crazy right now. You got some big fan in the background. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for this match because Invictus Gaming and Zenith, in my opinion, the 2 best team out of the 8 teams so far that is currently... Your mic's still going crazy. So whenever you fix that. Invictus Gaming and Zenith, in my opinion, 2 of the best teams out of the 8 teams so far. And they're 2-0. I feel like they're a step ahead of all the other teams. And I feel like they would actually produce one of the best of 3 series. Of course, Zenith, rumors have it that they've been beating out Invictus Gaming in scrims. And obviously, we know Invictus Gaming on officials are just unbeatable. I don't think we've seen them lose many games, alone any matches. So this should be an excellent best of 3.
Yeah, really looking forward to the unfortunate news is that we have got a stand-in in Miracle playing. Unfortunately, XY is missing from this match. He's taking a scheduled holiday, which he's had planned for some time. So no, not the full Zenith team, but still a Zenith team capable of upsets. It's really just a star-studded roster, and they're going to go back to something which has worked with them already. They managed to 2-0 DK using this hero. It seems to be, at times, the kryptonite for these Chinese Dota teams. It's Tinker. They're going with it right off the bat as one of their first 2 picks.
And normally we say, oh man, Tinker, it's going mid, but for these Southern East Asian teams, it doesn't matter where the Tinker actually goes. We've seen them Tinker going the long lane. We've seen them being safe lane, protected farm. We've seen them actually going jungle as like the fourth row. I don't even know how they do it, but they do it. But most likely we're expecting a Tinker versus Magnus matchup. But should the draft go a little bit funky, don't be afraid that the Tinker can't survive in other lanes.
Yeah, as for IG, they first picked the Mag here, and there we go, Mike going crazy again. They first picked the Mag here, which does give them that strong sort of potential solo mid, something we've seen Ferrari quite a bit at the mid lane. And right off the bat, Juggernaut Rubik. So they're not wasting any time getting themselves that sort of, I guess, semi-carry in the Juggernaut. And to me, Juggernaut acts as a nice replacement to the Lifesteal. If Lifesteal is still in the pool, IG are probably grabbing that up for their trialing. Generally played by YYF. Every now and then we do see Zhou playing it in the sort of 1 position, but Juggernaut seems to be the substitute for Lifesteal. It also does fit pretty well as sort of a nice hero for dealing with the Tinker. Yeah,
that healing ward is just so good in terms of actually sustaining a push. A lot of people kind of underestimate it, and it just talks back to the days of, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago when Juggernaut, you don't even think of the ward, you just think of his early game peeling powers, some sort of mid game carry. But right now, I think this ward makes a hero, and more so now because there's more AoE on the line with the vacuum and wall combo. Darkseid's going to pick up, Zenith is going to pick up the Darkseid, which isn't too, I don't want to say, I don't think it's too important as a hero pickup, but it's just a good laner, good AoE team fight. He's not broken, it feels like, in any terms, which feels kind of awkward to say because it's Darkseid.
Yeah, it was a hero which was just completely ignored for the longest time when Dota 2 first came out. Then suddenly it was, well, Complexity sort of the first team, or the current sort of Team Liquid, who just sort of showed, wait, this hero's kind of really good. And now teams are just, he's gone from being a top pick to sort of being up there in sort of the first 3 picks generally, to some games not really picked or considered at all, but he's still a hero who does sort of fit in the current metagame. He doesn't really have any main weaknesses. He does go well in the offlane, and if you're up against a tri-lane, you can always sort of sit back and just go straight to the jungle. You can abandon the offlane, which is really one of his strengths. Something like a Clockwork in the offlane, if he's up against a tri-lane, he could be getting no XP whatsoever. That's really one of the main strengths of this Darkseid as an offlaner.
Speaking of a Clockwork, I think Invictus Gaming could be picking him up as well, giving that sort of reliable initiation. And the Clockwork Hook is not exactly a targeted stun, but most of these Chinese pro are basically using it as such, and jumping against Tinker is one of the best way to actually initiate against a Tinker. Generally, Tinker will have the Blink Dagger back up, and he's going to blink into trees, and you really never find him, and you can't really kill him during gank or a push. But having the Rocket for sight, but more importantly, having that sort of reliable initiation tool to actually pick him up is very, very key. Let's see if Invictus Gaming will be going for something like that, or they're going to be going for something a little bit more different. The other kind of long lane is still available. I'm guessing Windrunner is an option, but we haven't seen it too much. And look at this respect ban of the problem, or Mirana for Zenith, because Zenith has been running some Mirana picks, and it's been working out for them.
To me, the question is for IG, do they go offensive trialing with the Juggernaut? They're a team who aren't afraid to do that. A lot of the other Chinese teams, they sort of stick to what they're best at, which is sort of protecting their main carry in the safe lane. But Juggernaut seems to fit well in an offensive trialing, something which they can put pressure on the Tinker, and it's a big risk if you... Tinker could be put under a lot of pressure. They could have himself in a bit of trouble if he is in that trialing versus trialing scenario. Otherwise, maybe we see him go mid against the Mag. And if IG want to do that, and they need some kind of a hero who can match up well in a 1v1 matchup against the Darkseer, something they were one of the first teams to do and did it on a couple occasions is Necrolite. They actually ran Necrolite in a 1v1 matchup against the Darkseer in that safe lane, and it's a hero which could fit with this IG lineup. I'm not saying... I don't think it's going to be a go-to strategy for them, but it's something they have run before.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. In terms of kind of predicting the support hero coming out from Invictus Gaming, I gotta say it's either Lina or Leshrac. Leshrak's really one of Invictus's kind of one of go-to support heroes. They just love to pick it up. Chuan's been playing it rather well. I'm a little bit surprised that they do ban out the Chen themselves. I haven't seen Zenith run too many Chens, at least in the games I've been casting. And Chuan has one of the better Chens in China. And I feel like it just synergizes quite well with Juggernaut Healing Ward, kind of give you that frontal push that you need. Although, with that said, Tinker Marching Machine is still a very, very annoying thing to deal with. Vacuum against the Chen creeps is not something you want to deal with either. And I guess they just want to protect your Healing Ward, because you could always send Chen creeps up at your Healing Ward, and it really stops the healing potential.
Yeah, we'll see a DK be the last ban for IG. So I think they recognize the fact that Zenith, the Tinker alone is not going to be sort of taking to the late game. Something that Zenith likely to do is sort of go for a more sort of split the map as far as farming goes, as far as split pushing goes, something these sort of Southeast Asian teams are well known for, both Zenith as well. Well, First Departure, the team that Miracle is coming from. Something he's well known for playing is the Anti-Mage, something which is still in the pool here, but is a bit of a risky pickup, especially if you're going to be looking... It puts Tinker in the mid lane, which IG can then expect, and also IG, if they want, can put a lot of pressure and shut down the Anti-Mage's early game by going for an offensive trial lane. So I think it's a risky option, but maybe something that Zenith are considering here.
Although, we did see LG China when they had the Anti-Mage go solo mid with the Anti-Mage, and you could definitely put the Tinker on the trial lane, which you can never ever trial lane against, in my opinion, because of March Machine. So I don't think it's actually pinned down to that particular lane, even if the Anti-Mage is being picked up. Still has some sort of laning versatility, but I'm sure IG could figure out a lot better than we can. And let's see exactly where they want to go here. If they do pick out the Lina here, they do deny it from the Shadow Demon combo of Zenith, or they could go with the Leshrac, which is going to give them a little bit better tower pushing as their second support. Or they could pick up something entirely different. I haven't seen Invictus Gaming run too many other supports though, so I'm expecting the Leshrac.
Yeah, they really like Leshrac quite a lot here. And with Chen taking out something which Chuan occasionally plays, I think Leshrac is kind of your go-to here. And I think picking up your support first... Well, Silencer! There's a... I want to say support hero, which could well be played by Chuan or Faith. I'm guessing it's going to be a support Silencer, or are you thinking it's going to be a solo hero, Lumi?
I mean, it definitely can be. That's the versatility of this particular hero. A lot of people, I think you in particular, saying that Silencer only needs to be support because he only needs to press that global and then have a huge infecting team fight, which is completely true. But I think having a farming Silencer give you the added benefit of some very nice DPS. And considering the fact that Zenith is working on heroes that are sort of squishy, you can actually kind of DPS them down. So it's not bad. Tiny's going to be the pickup here for Zenith. Well, I mean, we've seen X Freedom go support Tiny. I'm not sure what variant we're talking about. SSS gave an interview saying that Tiny is a very, very undervalued carry in a sense, but they ran it also as a support, so I don't know, man. This is something different.
I think the one in his interview, the one time he used it as a support was against the chain stack, and he got asked like, "Oh, why do you?" He was like, "Oh, we just wanted to support with some stun." So it seemed like they were just like, "Oh, any kind of interesting support hero with a stun," because they were versing a team in chain stack who aren't quite sort of on the same caliber as teams like IG and DK. But I think here, this is more likely the more standard Tiny, which will be that carry one position Tiny, probably played by Yamate, and it's an interesting little pickup here. It'll be something which is not all that easy to shut down early game because he does have a huge amount of burst damage. So it is a hero. Wow, SF gets picked up in retaliation, but Tiny a hero you can't really look to sort of go too aggressive against because he'll really just return the firepower onto you with an avalanche toss combo.
Yeah, I was actually hoping for something like a Naga pickup here because Sleep is actually really, really good against a Vacuum as well as Tiny, who may be actually going to be going for a BKB, but in fact, going for Shadow Fiend, a Chinese favorite in terms of semi carries and carries. And, well, I guess the Silencer is going to be going for a support unless we're going to see some crazy, crazy support Juggernaut, which we just seen in the G1 League a couple of days back. But I don't think Invictus Game will be running that one. So I'm guessing solo Shadow Fiend offensive tri-lane here?
Yeah, ooh. It looks like an offensive trial lane. I guess the question is, unless you send Shadow Fiend mid and put Mag in the off lane, but I think that's just not all. Mag needs some levels and some farm, and to me it seems like Ferrari on the mid lane on that Magnus makes the most sense. Go for an offensive trial lane with YYF playing the Juggernaut, and then Faith. SF doesn't match up well against the Darkseer. If he is, he'll get pulled a lot of regen, probably go first item Wraithband, and they get pulled Tangos as well as Sal's, but it's still a tough matchup even with the regen being pulled.
It's not that bad considering that once he gets to level 3, when he has access to level 2 Shadow Rays, if he needs to, he could actually kind of counter push against Darkseer. Once he hits level 5, the lane is actually like really good for Shadow Fiend. But until then, yeah, from 1 to I guess 3-ish, Darkseer is going to have the advantage. Not to mention if there's going to be any kind of smoke gang coming his way, Shadow Fiend's flat out dead. But after a certain point, Shadow Fiend should be able to handle the lane. It is going to be a Lina pickup here for Zenith. So SD Lina, one of the highest damaging kind of combo. If you look at the Zenith team, right, it's just scary to go up against because you could be at full HP, even as a Magnus, and you could just be burst down to 0 instantly. SD, Disrupt into LSA, Soul Catcher on top, Laguna, Laser Rocket. There's just a ton of nuke, and of course, Tiny's a big nuking carry by himself. So it's going to be tough, and I think Faith is going to do a ton of work with his Global Silence.
Yeah, I think it's a hero which can offer a lot. Not Global Silence, and Last Word, one of the most annoying, ridiculously strong spells against combo heroes. Against Morphling especially, it's just a ridiculously powerful thing which I've seen, which came into play in yesterday's matches. But Silencer, a hero which we'll get to see run by IG in the support role by Faith, so we'll see how it plays. And it is going to be Zhou playing the Shadow Fiend, and the question is going to be, IG, is it the offensive trialing that we've sort of been talking about? And right now it looks like they are sitting the 2 supports up top.
Well, let's quickly introduce the players. Invictus Gaming, a lot of players, a lot of people's favorites when they're betting items and looking at this match. IG Zoe is going to be playing that Shadow Fiend, going on the bot lane. Ferrari handling the mid lane here with the Magnus. On the top, offensive trialing, YYF handling that Juggernaut. We do see Faith rocking the Silencer. And last but not least, Chuan playing the Rubik.
Well, over on the Dire side, the challenges to these, well, in some ways, the kings of Dota 2 right now. IG, sort of the undisputed best team in the world, having won TI2, having won G League finals against LG International. No one seems to be able to beat them, but Zenith are looking to put a stop for it. The Singapore and Malaysian mixed team. We've got Ice playing the support Lina, Miracle the stand-in playing the Tiny, coming from Team First Departure, NWP or Yamate playing the solo mid Tinker. We've got X Freedom on the Shadow Demon, and that leaves us finally Ice, the off-lane player for this Zenith team, the Master Troll himself playing on the Darkseer.
What's actually surprising to me is that Zenith has such confidence in, a stand-in player, Miracle. Just, yeah, you can have carry roll, no big deal. Yamate, we'll just move to mid. I mean, XY generally plays with Tinker mid, but I just find it a little bit funny because I don't think I've ever seen any team do something like this, especially in a match as important as this. Because, I mean, Gods, can you remind how important this match is to the viewers that might be just joining us?
Winner of this match qualifies for the LAN finals. Loser of it, not guaranteed. You have to play in sort of an online playoff to get.
Oh my God,
spots.
bot lane.
Wow.
Ice has a haste rune, and he's not gonna dive to tier 2 tower for that kill, but. Actually, he's going to force Zoe's hand quite a bit. He actually can't even get in the lane. He's going to get denied 4 creeps on the bot. And we're going to see a level 2 Ice until Zoe. I mean, this is actually really huge.
Zoe needs to get to that tower, needs to get some XP as Phelps and Tango, and Ice is going to run at him once again. This is really bad for Zoe. He's going to miss a lot of XP. The problem is and the other problem is he's going to have his tower take quite a bit of early damage. So really nice start for Ice at the bottom lane, although gradually he's going to be taking a bit too much damage. Zoe's got enough creeps now that he can just fight Ice.
He should try to deny. If he gets a couple deny here, no, he's not going to go for it. He's going to get the free last hit under the tower. And last hitting under the tower isn't that difficult, even for Shadow Fiend. You just hit HP once, and there you go. Get these basically last hit for free, but I guess our attention should be on the particular top lane here. As who do you think have this kind of advantage in this kind of trialing versus trialing matchup?
I think if Zenith just plays super ultra, just use this pull and play defensive, use the pull so they can sort of just out-level IG in this top trial. I know Faith is going to look to sort of counteract that by going for some pulls of his own because he can pull this big camp over. So both teams have sort of their options here, and I think it really comes down to how they play. I don't think there's a clear advantage. If I have to say, I give IG a slight advantage just because of the fact they have a Juggernaut.
Well, they definitely could get the kills if Shadow Demon is not in position, because if you go on Lina, you go on Tiny, a single disruption is going to nullify a ton of early game damage coming out from the Blade Fairy. With that said, though, there is a ton of nukes, especially once they hit level 2 on the IG side. Looks like the Equilibrium is not working out in the favor of Zenith, so IG is going to get a little bit of EXP. Meanwhile, though, the supports are still pulling and constantly being a nuisance in the jungle, so I gotta say, it's somewhat of a wash. But I feel like the Dire had the advantage simply because they have the access into the jungle.
Yeah, why were they even going to use an early Blade Fury just to get himself some nice farm here and kill off that big creep wave? Bottom lane, TP coming in, showing all sorts of trouble. But it's a really early TP from Chuan, and this is going to backfire on Ice. Oh, wow!
Wow! This is a minute, 2.5 TP because most supports, most supports don't even get TP score until 4 or 5 minutes in for counter gank, and that's just suddenly won them the lane back because Zoe is going to have at least half a wave of free farm. That's going to put him to that critical level 4 that I talked about, and once he gets 5, the lane is won against the Darkseer. So this is after getting a haste rune on Ice and zoning Shadow Fiend out of a first level. This is insanely good play, but good thing on the top lane is that critically, they're taking advantage at 3v2 situation, going for a quick kill. Hope you caught that on camera. Although it's not on the Juggernaut, it was a quick kill nonetheless against a tri-lane.
Yeah, as soon as they see Rubik's out of the lane, they realize they can go in and with Rubik bottom, they get themselves an easy kill. But I actually get the better off of that trade. Fantastic. One of the very rarely will you see such an early TP coming from a support hero, but it works off well for IG. They've got Ice once again trying to pull from behind the tower, and Rubik actually going to stay bottom. So IG going to leave YYF, it looks like alone at top lane. Silencer rotating bottom as well, and I think they've decided YYF has enough early farm. He's got his boots up. He's going to be hitting level 3 here. He's just going to be looking to sort of get as much XP as possible. They're going to focus more efforts on protecting Zhou and looking maybe to just sort of push Ice out of this bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Ice in theory, he could actually pull those creep wave that he's pulling right now into the jungle and then basically farm the jungle and the lane creeps at the same time. But not when the two supports are missing off the map like they are right now for Zenith. So they have to back up. But back on the top lane here, LSA, let's see if it's going to be landing. No, it will not. And YYF will make it out of there. Maybe Ice is going to follow up with the LSA. You actually have to time that absolutely perfectly. And it's actually really hard to do with a delay stun like LSA.
I mean, I think, yeah, it's one of those things which is almost impossible against a hero like a Juggernaut because there's no cast time on that Blade Fury, so very hard to do so. And YYF just knows he's pretty safe at this top lane. He's going to back off for the time being, maybe look to sort of kill off some neutrals, stack some neutrals for his team, so he can actually get some farm as well as levels. Ferrari, meanwhile, mid lane, we haven't really sort of talked much about him. He's sitting on 15 creep kills to the 18 of Tinker. He finds an Invis rune. They're pretty much even on levels, both about to hit level 6. For Mag, that's a much bigger deal, though. He can look to sort of have a teammate rotate mid, look for a kill on Tinker, or he himself can rotate to one of the side lanes and try find some kills there.
Yeah, for me, that's impressive play. Being able to lead creep kills against a level 5 Magnus. And really, I mean, I assume he's been bottle crawling. In fact, where is this bottle? Is it on the curry? Yes, it is. So despite of that, though, Yamate playing really, really well. What he's got to be careful is that with any kind of roaming support coming out from IG, they are going to just get a free kill. Skewer, RP, Shockwave, and any single stun or nuke coming against Yamate, he's dead. So he's got to be playing on his toe for the next 3 to 4 minutes. RP's gonna get dropped on the minute. Skewer back to the tower, not gonna hit on creeps. And here we go, YYF coming in. Can he get the spin off? Yes, he will. I just talked about it, and he just went for the kill. Nicely played.
The RP guarantees the Skewer into tower, and I think Ferrari almost has that solo, even without Jug coming in. He just needed a bit more time to get the shockwave up, but he was getting that from those bottle charges. So really well played by Ferrari. He knows the limits of his hero, and you can see Yamate not as comfortable in that mid lane as he'd like to be, and a role that he's not really used to playing for this Zenith team.
Meanwhile here, IG is going to be putting a lot of pressure on the bot lane. What the Zenith tri-lane can't do is push as well. And in fact, instead of pushing, they're going to be going in for a smoke gank on the bot lane. I'm not sure whether it's going to work, and the tower might just be dead by the time they get here.
Yeah, and triple raise coming out from SF just to push this lane even faster, and they're going to get the tier 1 tower. Actually goes to Chuan on Rubik, and TP in from Ice. You can't be doing that. Last word is there. Not even going to be needed. Another raise coming out from SF, and here comes the backstab. Freedom, Ice, who are they going to go on? They've chosen Silencer. Lightstrike Array will fault the disruption. Here comes Miracle as well. Combo onto him, but Miracle taking so much damage. Luckily, Joe has no mana left for another raise, and it looks like Tiny are going to narrowly escape. The Fade Bolt not doing enough. Lina, Ice, get out of there, son. You're not going to be able to take them on.
Yeah, they were very lucky that Magnus didn't make that rotation down the river, or Magnus actually now already up on the top lane to get that EXP that Juggernaut's missing, switching the lane up there. But the reason that ISIS was being so aggressive with that TP is that he expected supports to come in, and they were just a tiny, tiny bit short. And because of that, well, they lost one hero, and again, it's Ice, who is a very, very level and farm dependent. He's 4.5 against a Shadow Fiend. We talked about how that matchup should be favorable to him. Now, suddenly with Shadow Fiend on Treads, he could simply zone Ice out of lane by himself.
Yeah, Treads bottle, he hits hard enough that he can bring down whatever creep that gets Iron Shelled pretty fast. If he starts bottle crowing, we can see him just spamming razors on these creep waves and just making it really hard lane for Ice to stay in, and Rubik's always there, so one telekinesis, if he hits 2-3 razors, Ice will go down, even with just the 2 heroes at bottom lane.
Well, looks like he's actually being very brave in terms of pressuring the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend out of mana at this point, which is really the factor that allows him to completely dominate the lane. I might even walk back to lane and allow Chuan to get some EXP and then TP back and ensure the fact that he has lane control. Or maybe it's just do a bottle crawling instead. But no, he's going to be sitting pretty with the basically the last thing at this point. Yeah, I'm going to take back in the mid lane. Uh-oh. They gotta set the gank. They have to kill Shadow Fiend here.
Yeah.
He's actually starting to kind of snowball out of control, a la CTY style from Vichy Gaming. We've seen him do a lot of work with Shadow Fiend. They have to kill him here.
I think Ice is going to go for some creep skipping here. And this is just to try bait out the aggression from SF and Rubik. He's probably hoping that they come try kill him off or push him out of the lane, because then Shadow Demon and Lina are going to be in the right place to sort of push him out. But Chuan and Zhou at the time being, they're seeing at the tower. Arcane Boots now up, and this is a big item because now Zhou has mana for a triple raise. Chuan has mana for a telekinesis as well as almost a Fade Bolt. We'll have it soon, and I think IG know because they're playing very, very cautiously right now at the bottom lane. Does Mag have a TP? I'm wondering. Yes, he does. TP and a haste rune. So this bottom lane, they don't want to be diving under.
Well, look at the amount of Observer being dropped down here as well. Chuan's putting himself in a sort of a baitage position. A Favor's coming in, no rotation from the Magnus just yet. Oh, X-Freedom, he's gonna jack the bottle. Oh my god, huge play here. That's 600 go down the drain. That's a free bottle for him. You could use your enemy's bottle. And Zoa's like, what the hell is going on right now? Grand Theft Auto coming out here from Zenith.
The courier was coming in, Zhou would put it on the ground, and the Observer Ward gave Shadow Demon the vision he needed. Hey, that's a nice 600 gold. He can give it to his teammate or just carry it around himself. It looks like he's going to be the one using it and holding it for the time being. So, nice little win for Team Zenith, and that's the kind of thing they need at the moment, as we see Tinker at mid lane. Still no boots of travel up in him, so this is making it a lot harder for Zenith to really fight back until they have those boots of travel up.
Yeah, actually, you could just give the bottle to Tinker, have Tinker sell his own if he really is needed of that 300 gold for an accelerated boot to travel. I mean, again, you could use your enemy's bottle just as well, so... Well, we'll see if it's going to be like that, as we do see Zenith rotation on the support coming out on the top lane. It's going to be YYF, and they feel pretty comfortable leaving him there. Let's see if they're going to get the kill, but it looks like return kill against X-Freedom. The spin is going to dodge the stuns. X-Freedom's dead. And he's going to miss. Magnus in position. Haste Rune, he's going to find Ice. Oh, he's going to find Ice Management. Skewer, where's the Skewer? Nothing just yet. Where's the Skewer? He's looking. Oh my god, backing. Just dropped the RP, my friend. No, he's not. He doesn't want to use it. Avalanche, toss. Faith is dead. And I gotta say, I have not seen Ferrari whiff a Magnus play like that he just did. That was pretty bad, I gotta say.
He just needs to shockwave an attack, maybe. Drop, like you say, just drop the RP just for the one kills. Anything there, but that was not the right play. He was really looking for that skewer backline. And, well, Zenith, they juke it out. They get themselves a return kill. They bring down Silencer, and that's a nice little bit of play from them. They sort of preventing Ferrari from getting too much out of that rotation. And that was Ferrari with a haste rune as well.
I'm looking to see where the bottle went on the... Oh, they give it to Tiny. Oh my god,
I like
Tiny
this choice.
bottle on the carry choice. This is actually pretty sick for Zenith. I mean, this is... I don't know. One of the bigger weakness of Tiny is that he can't flash farm as well if he's going for the carry build like this. Well, with the free bottle, now he can. But it looks like they're going to try to set up a kill against Yamate.
Yeah, he's in trouble here. Mag does him an RP, and I don't think he'll be too shy about using an RP to kill off the Tinker. Here comes the SF rotation. Maybe not going to... Yeah, just no second thoughts. Ray, Shockwave, easy kill. SF gets the kill as well, so Zhou now up to 2.5k gold. If we want to keep seeing the... He's been bottle crowing, so if we want to keep with the Pinoy Dota style, we're going to see maybe a Shadow Blade coming out from him as well on the Shadow Fiend.
It just shows you how much that they care really about that Tinker, because they would not use an RP in a 3 or 4 hero engagement up top, but they will drop the RP relentlessly on the Tinker, because they know Yamate's Tinker, and Tinker in general, is a hero that is going to shut them down. Not Lina, not SD, perhaps not even that Tiny. So, of course, giving Zoe that kill is going to be key as well. He's going to go for that Shadow Blade build. Meanwhile, Ice surging out of his hiding place could actually get a kill against Zoe, though, if he gets a good vacuum. This is a solo kill they're looking for. Teleport supports are coming in. Where's the vacuum? It misses!
Level 1 vacuum.
And he's dead. Omni Slash time? Go.
No. Oh, there we go. He waited for it.
Jump Slash. And Ice is just not having a good day.
Bad day for him and Dean. I thought he had that kill. He should have. I think he just went a bit too greedy with the pullback. He just didn't place it where he wanted to. Because it's level 1, it's really hard to pull him back. The AoE, the radius just isn't really there. And unfortunately for him, Zhou gets away. That's a really, really big loss for Team Zenith. If they get that, they're looking fine right now. But unfortunately for them, SF is getting bigger and bigger.
Well, Snowball carries Tiny versus Shadow Fiend. Where's your money on?
SF right now. I feel Tiny's done well, but he's not even really starting to snowball. We're seeing him 1-0-2. He's hit level 8, so he's almost got his maxed out combo with the 1 point and grow, the maxed out avalanche toss. But I feel SF is a hero which IG can just sort of look to group up with the mag, just set up kill after kill. They've got a global silence here. I feel Tiny needs a lot more farm to sort of really have the same impact as an SF.
Yeah, I mean, Tiny definitely could go for those solo kill like Shadow Fiend can. It's just that if he's doing that, he's not going to be farming reliably. Shadow Fiend could easily pop in the wave for a second or so, and then clean up the creep wave and go back on the hunt again. All he really needs is mana. Although with the bottle being stolen from him, mana is going to be somewhat of an issue. But he should be able to get these kills. And in fact, where is he going right now? Is he looking for a kill? Well, he's not in his lane, so I think Tinker is a good choice to actually hit again. And there's that RP back on cooldown for Ferrari.
Yeah, he's given up his lane to the Juggernaut. YYF has taken over the farm there, and YYF, he needs to consider like a profession change. He just loves going for this race car build. Phase drums. He needs to go like join NASCAR or something.
Maybe he is. I mean, actually, NASCAR is pretty big in China, I think.
Yeah, well, there we go, YYF. Maybe he's saving up, hoping to win TI3 just so he can make enough money to sort of break into the competitive race car scene.
Shadowblade usage on the mid lane, that is going to give information to IG that there is a Central Ward down as a creep ward hitting Shadow Fiend. And actually that maneuver on the mid lane cost him quite a bit because you can see that top tower is being pressured by Zenith as well as bot tower, allowing Ice to get some room to come back. But I think that IG don't even have to deal with Zenith Ice at this point anymore. He's so far behind. Give him a free wave or two. It doesn't really matter.
And Miracle has his phase drums. He's doing pretty well as a carry, but the Juggernaut in the offlane has phase and drums. So he's about 1k gold behind because Tiny Miracle does have some gold on top of the phase drums, but there's not really a whole lot separating those heroes. And then you have an SF who's looking pretty damn farm with Tread, Shadowblade up, and he'll be looking for a BKB, I imagine, next. He's back to bottom lane to continue farming. So I think IG will take a quick look at the gold graph. Well, once I can. There we go. Gold graph. They're about 3k gold ahead, and I feel they'll be pretty happy with how things have started off for them. Blink Dagger now up on Ferrari at mid lane.
Well, that's really the item that IG is looking for. Once this item's up, they could actively push any tower they want or go for any kind of solo gank or even 2 or 3-man gank. RP will, again, reserve for that Tinker. Or if they want to dump it out for a 3-man RP, they'll take that one as well. So I feel like IG, despite the fact that the gold graph is relatively similar, especially with the tower deny on the bot lane, they're really, really ahead. RP on the top lane. That's a 2-man RP. Global on top. X-Freedom is dead. They want Tiny as well. Is he dead? It actually took him a while. Yeah. And we do see Miracle is on the run with the face drum. He is really, really just race carding out of there himself.
Meanwhile, under the tower, YYF will finish off the laner, but Tiny gets out of there. So they lose the 2 supports, but it looked like it could go a whole lot worse. The skewer made that Lena's Light Strike array a miss completely, but they just didn't really focus all their efforts onto the Tiny, and they didn't really have any follow-up disables was the real big issue there. And as a result, they get the 2 supports. I think IG is still going to be perfectly happy with it. They've got Zhou farming at the bottom lane, and we're going to see the CTY build, it looks like. Shadowblade into Mask of Madness.
Yeah, normally I say if you use an RP and use a global and you only get 1 support kill, it's actually a win for Zenith. Unfortunately, Zenith don't have the hero to really capitalize on it. They don't have a big pushing team where you could say, let's jump down the mid lane right now because there's no big ultimates. You have SD and Lina as your supports, and those are maybe good at getting solo kills on supports. They're not actually really good at facilitating a push. So, you know, RP use, global use, not that big of a deal. Back in the mid lane, though, they want Ferrari. LSA will hit on Chuan. Chuan is going to be dead. Laguna is going to seal the deal. You're going to get a kill like that because global is down, but, I mean, it's just a kill on support Rubik. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah,
Zenith do manage to hold their tier 1. It looked like IG were really trying to get that, but seeing just above deny range, which is something which Zenith are probably going to be a bit annoyed about because they probably want to make sure they deny that gold when possible. And Ferrari going to go looking bottom lane for a rune. Not going to actually be there. The Shadow Demon, he bottled it up. There's that IG Zhou bottle.
They've been actually passing it back and forth between the Tinker and as well as the Tiny, but it's all good. And it looks like IG is going to be mounting and push. Now, the Blink Dagger give the Ferrari the versatility to actually initiate despite having the RP down. So the supports still have to be careful. It looks like they are just going to man down this tower very easily. Tower denied.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
What a play from... I mean, if your support get plays like this at this stage of the game, that's all you could ask for.
Yeah, that's... I mean, it's a small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. Tinker, oh, they found SF at the top lane. He was getting a bit... I saw him earlier killing off this neutral stack, and it looks like Zenith found him with 3 heroes there.
That is a huge kill. Denying that Mask of Madness, but more importantly, making sure that when he revives, well, he actually has Mask of Madness in stash, but making sure that he has to spend at least a minute or 2 to get his soul back, so he's not going to be a menace against your support. You buy yourself at least 2 to 3 minutes, and of course, on parity, allowing your Tinker, allowing your Tiny to catch up. Tiny is going to be going the 4 on carry build, and he needs a little bit of catching up because he doesn't farm nearly as fast as the Shadow Fiend would.
And this SF build is very squishy, so we'll probably actually see Zhou sticking a lot with his team. Maybe we even see something like a mech coming out of Ferrari as well, just to give him that extra survivability to the whole team. And I think it's something where going this SF build, you can't just look to sit back. You need to be looking to sort of group up, play some 5-man Dota if you're IG. Use the fact you have an SF with a huge amount of damage potential. Once he gets some more souls, I imagine we see IG looking to take some more out of towers, maybe go for a push even at top lane.
Well, quick kind of putting you on the spot question, Gods, as Shadow Fiend died, a couple of tower denies going both ways here. Who's actually ahead?
Well, if they can kill the Tiny here, IG are looking just fine, and it looks like they're going to try and do just that at mid lane. Miracle, he's brought down RP, solo RP being used once again for a kill. This is something IG, they do all the time when they have a mag pick. They'll quite happily use these solo RPs, and looking at the gold, that's a nice way of cheating and giving you an answer. We see IG slightly ahead in both XP and farm, but only about 2k ahead. I think they're still looking pretty good here just because of, well, that Tiny kill right there, slowing down this Tiny's item progression. Tiny actually not going for the full Ags. He's going to pick himself up a Yasha, so he's going super mobility as well.
I like that choice, especially against the lineup that we do see from IG. But I say if they get this kill on Shadow Fiend, they are going to be on parity. That tiny amount of gold, it does not matter. Here we go. Persia actually opened up. Shadow Blade. Where is the detection? They do have him. LSA's got to land. LSA, Laguna on top. They are going to get that kill. Great play. The Hunter is being hunted. And I think Zenith back on where they need to be.
And 2 supports should not be able to be solo killing your hard carry at 90 minutes in when he's had free farm. That's just something which should not be happening.
Well, that's what SD Luna can do, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of unique aspect of these kind of combination. Top lane is going to get defended as well, so IG in a little bit of trouble. I'm very surprised that Global wasn't dropped for that. I'm actually very surprised.
That's something I think IG maybe just didn't quite catch their attention. SF could have even either turned and fought or just TP'd out of there, although it doesn't look like he had a TP scroll. But Global and then just fight your way out of that, but decide not to, and IG now going to have a fight at top lane. The good news is they still have the global here. SF not on the sidelines, and Ice. Oh, wrong place at the wrong time. He gets caught out under the tower. The last word should finish him off here. Global Silence does get used. He gets brought down. Juggernaut even Omni Slashes there. I don't think he needs to use that. Now IG saying, let's get the hell out of here. Silence to the first to TP. Second TP coming out from Rubik. Rubik just in time. And YYF, he gets out from the side. So they throw a lot at a Darks here. A Global Silence, and then they had to all three-man TP out of there. So IG, they're looking okay here, but it's not looking as sort of solid and stable as they normally do.
Yeah, also a side consequences of that Global was that they also was able to save Ferrari on the mid lane because we saw a pretty nice initiation of tossing the Shadow Demon in to land that disrupt in the beginning, and then to have follow up with the Avalanche. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get a kill on Magnus because of that Global. And look at what Magnus is going for. He's going for a mech, something that we don't see too often on Magnus. He really wants a Vanguard instead, especially against this particular lineup, but they really need a mech carrier on the team, so
I'm not at all surprised by this, especially when you have Zhou going for the Mask of Madness build. You need to have that some extra survivability coming out from your utility heroes, your supports as well, and I think it's a nice little pickup. Ice at bottom lane, he's actually gone very aggressive once again, surging himself. Blink going to be popped. Vacuum Wall of Replay gets himself 2 illusions here, maybe enough to hold this. Blink RP comes out, catches 2, doesn't catch Tiny. He whiffs the Avalanche. The skewer was too fast. Tower goes down, 2 kills to IG. Nice siege of the tier 1 tower. They get themselves 2 kills a tower, and they're going to get out, go back to farming now, wait for some of these ultis to come off cooldown, the Mag RP, the Juggernaut Omni Slash, and IG I think are looking really good all of a sudden, because it's not about the SF versus Tiny. There's a Juggernaut with a Yasha and a lot of gold, and even these supports on the IG side. We're going to see a 4-star on Rubik soon. Silence has not got a whole lot, but I feel overall IG just have a much more well-rounded team going to the mid-game. Tinker's not really had the impact you need him to be having just yet.
Yeah, in terms of going to the late game, the supports, you talked about the global ability to win team fights flat out. What does really SD Lina gives you? It gives you that ability to one-shot a particular hero if you land it, but it's not as reliable as pressing a single button and granting you a huge advantage. So the support of Zenith will start to fall off as well as this stage of the game is starting to move into a 5-man Dota instead of a ganking stage. You're not going to be able to find these free kills as they just did on Zoe. So it's going to be looking more and more difficult for Zenith as this game progresses. Also in that last team fight, really good micro from Ice. He dropped the vacuum, dropped the wall, and micro the illusion to kill the healing ward from Juggernaut. Do keep looking towards plays like those being made. If you get a kill on the healing ward, it's actually pretty huge.
Yeah, it's something which, if kept alive in a long team fight, or even if it's just on the side, and a hero survives, gets off to the side of the fight, can just heal himself up, can make a big, big difference if they can re-engage thanks to that heal. So, nice bit of play there from Ice. And I think the big thing... I guess one of the things I want to ask you, do you think this Mask of Madness has justified itself as a purchase? I feel Joe just hasn't really done much with it.
It's not an item that's really... Normally, Mask of Madness gives you about a ton of kills, and you hunt supports easily, but there's a lot of inherent benefit as well. The lifesteal ability allows him to basically tank a lot of creeps and farm. He was actually farming the neutrals, as well as the mobility to move all over the map and go from camp to camp. It's actually a very, very good farming item, and a lot of players only see it as a killing item, which, I mean, that's what shows up on the scoreboard. It's not a bad item per se. It actually accelerates your farm on Shadow Fiend, and, you know, I think it has justified it. It's a good build.
Okay. Well, he's going to have a BKB as well on top of this, so then he'll have that extra survivability. He won't have to worry about the tiny combos, the Shadow Demon Lina, who've been sort of hunting him as we saw earlier at bottom lane. And, well, IG, once again, they're going for these 4-man smokes. They've been both teams have been pretty active using these smokes. I think Zenith more going for the 2-man Shadow Demon Lina smoke ganks, whereas IG have been going for the 4-man smoke ganks while Zhou farms. And most times they've been getting themselves a kill or two.
Yeah, or 3 when you have RPs and Global ready to go like they do. Every ultimate on IG is up. And I don't think Zenith could take these team fights, especially with Ice only having a mech being finished. I say only because we're 23 minutes in. You expect him to have mech and another big item on top. Teleportation comes up on the top lane. It's the Tinker, and well, Tinker's really annoying to push against.
Sentry ward onto the cliff there. They're going to see that IG don't have any ward or vision. Chuan, 4-star in, lifts up the Tinker. Can they bring him down? Defensive disruption is there, and Faith. There's a global silence. It doesn't hit Tinker, though. Tinker's not silenced. He was in the disruption. He can still cast spells, although it's not really going to matter because Zenith have just backed right the hell off.
One of the worst team fights seen actually commit here. Haste Rune on Magnus, not able to drop any kind of RP. Global, well, there was basically... Global is actually a do-nothing spell if there was no follow-up of any sort, and that's what happened for IG. It's actually a very difficult kind of team fight to do for IG if they don't land that RP. So there's a lot of pressure on Ferrari to actually hit those RP, and I don't fault him because everybody was very well split on Zenith's side.
Yeah, Zenith, it came down to some really nice positioning from them, and they're going to look to sort of bounce back, go for a counter push here, well, counter gank of their own. They're going to smoke up. We're going to walk right into YYF here. Yamate, he's caught out at bottom river. Meanwhile, top lane, it's Darkseer. Sorry, not Darkseer. Yeah, Juggernaut, who's getting caught out. There's your disruption. They're going to burst him down. Omnisage just actually comes out. Can YYF get out of this? It doesn't look like it. Laguna Blade, Soul Catcher, they burst him down, but Yamate, he gets caught out the bottom lane. That's a much bigger loss at this point. Zenith are putting a lot of eggs into the tiny basket right now. Whereas for IG, it's a much more well-rounded team. It doesn't really matter if they lose one hero here and there for a trade on such a key hero such as the Tiny.
Especially when Shadow Fiend's farming out of control. BKB finish, 1,000 gold in the bank. He could go for Manta Style. He could go for Butterfly. Whatever he desires. Maybe he just tank up. SMY, one of the more popular item choices, especially in semi-carries that Zoe's been playing, Lifestealer. If he just wants to tank up and respect the damage output from Zenith, he could just go that as well. It's not a bad mid-game pickup, in fact.
Well, taking a look at where we stand now, IG, we see a sudden increase going their way in far as total gold earned. They're seeing about a 6-7k gold league. The XP, similar story. They're about 6k XP ahead. Zenith still have plenty of options to get back in this game, but it's going to be... I feel like it's going to be very difficult for them. They need to spend some time getting Tiny nice and farm, get this Aghanim Scepter up, and even another item on top of that. Tinker, he needs his side of the vice here, I feel, and until that point, I think Zenith, they're just playing a much more sort of defensive turtle style of gameplay from the next 5-10 minutes.
I mean, they really trying to use their gank to take him out, but I feel like IG's ganks are just like daggers straight to your heart. they use their spells where it matters the most. They ganked Tinker multiple times, like that free pick off in the river with a Hasten Magnus they just did on him. And Ice just, I guess, with bad luck in combination and a really good play like that 2.5-minute TP from our Rubik player, being able to get picked off a couple of times, and his item progression and as well as level progression has been really slowed down. I felt like those are the most important here for Zenith, the Darkseer and Tinker, and having both of them shut down, that's why Shadow Fiend, YYF Juggernaut, as well as Magnus, being able to enjoy the kind of the lead that they have right now. Yeah, and Zenith is forced to farm and play very, very far back, very defensive. Even Miracle, we can see him just tossing creeps from far away to farm, not even wanting to go in for the last hits. And IG, they're grouped up at mid. I think they're going to look to start taking down some more tier 2 towers if they can. Juggernaut, he's found Yamate at top lane. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a solo kill. The phase Yasha jumps. He used the jump charge to give them the movement speed needed. Omni Slash and everything. And with Tinker down, he's probably telling the rest of his team, you guys can get at least a tier 2 tower, possibly even go for more at mid lane. I'm not sure if you caught the beginning of that. It was YYF actually being really, really low. Tinker blinked forward for a laser rocket combo. And Omni Slash came off cooldown. He's like, well, I see you and no creeps next to you, so free kill, and that's exactly what happened. Shadowblade into Roshan. IG decide they get a tier 2. They can also get Roshan while Tinker's on the sidelines. And I have to agree with Tiny no ags, with Darkseer just not really being able to sort of engage into this. I think this is a smart decision from IG, something which Zenith will struggle to contest. Yeah, I felt like the game was very, very even in a couple. Well, let's see if they can get this Roshan challenge. They can. The damage output is simply too fast. And that's another added benefit of that Mask of Madness build. Yeah, I felt like the game was very, very even, especially with that Shadow Demon and Lina getting that kill against Shadow Fiend up in the bot lane. But since then, I felt like IG has recovered admirably, and Zenith not able to stem the bleeding as you were, as good as IG was. And now they're kind of getting snowballed upon. Yeah, the problem is you look at some of these key heroes for Zenith. Darkseer is 1 and 5, Tinker is 1 and 4. These two heroes have been slowed down and shut down in so many ways. You look at the SF, sure he got picked off once by the 2 supports bottom lane, but he's still sitting on 3 and 2, highest net worth in the game by quite a long shot. Juggernaut, the other sort of key sort of core hero, is 4 and 1 with a lot of farm. So none of these IG heroes have been shut down, while Darkseer as well as Tinker have had a really tough game. Tiny, the only one having a semi-decent game, but his farm isn't really even up there with the SFs. Yeah, so I think the better question to ask right now is for Zenith, where is the go-to plan? Where's the recovery plan? And I feel like the way that the heroes that we have on Zenith, despite having a very aggressive ganking duel, we're not at a stage of the game where they could just go for those solo smoke ganks. They will just get picked off and get free kills to IG. And when you have Tinker, when you have Tiny, they're kind of passive farmers in my opinion. So you just have to kind of take it, and hopefully that IG makes a mistake or they don't push down their towers like they're doing right now, and slowly farm your way to your ads, slowly farm your way up to your Siphon Device, and hopefully your late game is better. But that's a lot of hoping. Yeah, hoping for an IG mistake, you're going to be waiting for a long, long time. It's something which is very, very rare, very few and far between. But IG, this is the problem. You mentioned that Zenith can't really just stop the bleeding. Tower after tower being taken. Zenith can't even really protect them. Even with a Tinker on their side, we see tier 2 towers drop at mid, tier 2 tower drop at bottom. Roshan get taken. And Zenith are just losing more and more headway with every little tower loss. The lead that IG are getting, it's just this slow and steady increase. When you're ahead, you look to get further ahead. You don't look to sort of seal the deal right away. You wait till you're farmed enough, and we're seeing just that come out of IG here. They know it's better that they bide their time, get a few more core items up before they look to go for the tier 3 towers and try breach the high ground. Yeah, so for two questions that the viewers at home might be asking. Why isn't Zenith pushing? Well, pushing into RP as well as global is almost suicidal, so they can't even do that. Well, why isn't Zenith farming a little bit more aggressively? Maybe in the jungle, or maybe you could see Tinker start to split push on his own. Tinker can't even make it out past 2-3 waves after he TPs, simply respecting the fact that there is a Blink RP, there is a Shadow Blade, Shadow Feed running out there, and Omni Slash is proven as a way to also solo kill him, so you never really know where the enemy team is, and in fact he's farming an ancient camp by himself. He's just so starved in terms of option, in terms of lanes, in terms of where he can go. And again, that's the stuff that don't show up on the scoreboard, and that's why IG is so ahead right now. Yeah, and Butterfly now up on Joe gives him just so much more survivability and damage output that it's going to be really scary for Zenith to try and defend these lanes. Darkseer's not top lane, so it looks like we're just going to give up another tier 2. And I think for me, the plan for Zenith, if I'm in Zenith's shoes here, you've just got to be thinking, defend tier 3s, try scrape together as much farm as possible. Get Tinker, split push around the maps, and Ice has been in the enemy neutrals for the last sort of couple of minutes, so it's really just scrape together everywhere we can. But unfortunately, the high ground push is
Aegis now coming in, and Zhou with an Aegis can just pelt away. It could be just a slow and steady siege. Even YYF can go into the front lines here, although he's not staying there for too long. And it looks like Zhou just going to be looking to bring down this tier 3 tower on his own.
Well, he pops the BKB, and it's time to go to work. Skewer is going to find a Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's dead. BKB's down.
They're using Omni Slash on the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, not exactly the best usage of IG spells. I'm not sure whether they will push it with their spells down on cooldown. In fact, they're going to be going into the enemy jungle, look for a couple of D wards. Meanwhile, Eyesight, or Miracle, excuse me, still keep on free farming. So playing it like a PL in a sense says, all right, team, good luck with the defense. I'll try to scrape together some items. I gotta say, not exactly the worst defense coming out from Zenith, considering that IG is so far ahead. That Aegis might be running out very, very soon. In fact, it's about, I say 1.5 minutes. And I'm not sure whether IG is going to have another opportunity to make a deep push like that.
Yeah, slightly unnecessary Omni Slash. And I think if they want to go for another push, they need to do so soon while they still have the Aegis. It's going to allow them to go for that sort of safe and secure siege where they just put Zhou on the high ground. He hits the tower. Even if he gets disrupted, comboed up, he can just wait for the BKB. I think that's what they're waiting for, the BKB. 23 seconds on it. Now they're going to be going mid, and by the time they sort of get to the base, they'll have the BKB back up. They're actually smoked up here, although they're not going to be finding anyone. Zenith, smartly just sitting in their own base, grouped up, huddling around, thinking, guys, let's hope IG play nice.
Yeah, it's not what you see with the smoke gang, it's what you don't see. And they don't see Shadow Fiend farming that juicy wave on the bot lane. You gotta know something is up. YYF now TP's back, and, well, the juke's up. So, not only are they not gonna get a smoke gang kill, they're not also gonna get a push off, because Zhou's Shadow Fiend Aegis is gonna be running out right now.
Yeah.
So, actually a really big dodge from Zenith. And, I mean, if I know IG, they're gonna most likely play safe. So they bought themselves 4 extra minutes to farm. Unless they get picked off, which is, again, high possibility thanks to Shadowblade Shadow Fiend, thanks to Blake Magnus RP. They bought themselves 4 extra minutes, which is pretty impressive considering that they were down by quite a bit.
Yeah, I think with IG, when they're looking to go for tier 3 towers and siege the high ground, they're going to wait till they have the Aegis this game. They're going to, with this Aegis expiring, the next 4 minutes they're going to spend farming as well as maybe going for some smoke ganks here, but they're not going to look to do what they did at top lane where they're grouped up as 5, sieging down the tier 3 tower and going for that without an Aegis. That does not work without an Aegis. Zhou just can get burst down right off the bat, brought down to half HP before he even pops a BKB like we saw, and this gives, like you say, tiny space to farm. Tiny's sitting on 2.5k gold. He's got Yasha, Aghanim Scepter. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with his next big item. But if he gets farmed enough, the potential for Zenith to mount a comeback is there.
Zhou's going to be very, very careful. He's far away from his team. He doesn't have his Aegis anymore. He does have a BKB. And looking at the setup spells that the Dire team does have, they generally almost always have to lead with Disruption. And you know, like how you could Blade Fairy out of any spells after the Disruption, you could BKB out of that as well. So I think Zhou recognizing that says, all right, I'm actually kind of safe with my BKB, so I'll keep on farming. In fact, they will make that push. No given time here for you, Zenith. We're going to just go for the win here.
Yeah, I'm surprised. This is normally IG, I feel, would be waiting for this Aegis here, but they've got buybacks. Juggernaut with a ton of gold. He's sitting on 4.3k gold, not buying his next item. It wouldn't come out in time, and same for SF. Buyback is there already.
Do you think this is the correct decision? They are in a very, very comfortable lead. And
the tower's so low, I think they can get the tower just during the SF BKB. I think that's what they're thinking. They can put SF or YYF on the front line and just go for the tower.
Well, Disruption not going to do too much. LSA is going to hit on YYF as well. Gets 4-stab back. But look at the micro. SC microing his illusions to kill the healing ward. Again, tiny plays like that or just that stop the push flat out. So again, great play from Zenith.
Yeah, I think IG are going to quickly realize they can't even get this tier 3 tower. It's just too dangerous to do so. The BKB, Jug can Blade Fury up and actually attack the tower while in Blade Fury and be somewhat magic immune, but it's just too risky and not something they want to be doing right now. Looks like they're going to wait out the Aegis, which they've got 2.5 minutes on. And as a result, during this time, it's time where Zenith can catch up a bit on farm. IG, though, they can just keep looking to extend their farm, pick up their next level lines. We mentioned Jug, 5k gold now, SF sitting on 4k gold. I think they just look to spend this gold. They don't really need buybacks at this point. They're ahead, and getting their next big item can really help them pull away and succeed with their next high ground push.
Yeah, I mean, the gold chart is showing about a 10, 12,000, 14,000 gold lead. I feel like if Zenith gets 1 kill here, they're right back. I mean, not coming back in terms of the huge deficit, but that's going to buy themselves a ton of time for Tico to do a ton of split push, because pushing out without Aegis is what IG will do, seemingly. They're definitely not going to push 5v4, so once you get a kill on Zenith, you're back in control, at least until that hero respawns.
They're looking maybe mid lane IG, though. They want to get another push as we see some writing coming out on the mini.
Oh,
it's of course from Ice Ice Ice. Of course.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Not sure Ice 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 is in a position to talk when it's 1-5-2 though. He does have some nice pickup. Yeah. As Acceptor is gonna be his choice.
I'm guessing Puppy didn't like the Aghanim's selection. Ice 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 is maybe calling him out on it. Who knows?
Well, I mean, is Ice Ice is listening into the stream? That's like just wrong in a lot of different levels. I'm not sure.
Maybe someone's passing on the message. Who knows? I'm not calling him out on anything here, but
I think he's just calling Puppy new because he can.
No, very true. And this is going to get so difficult for Zenith to hold on here. And the other item we haven't really talked about, the Aghanim Scepter, Ferrari's just picked himself up a Scythe of Ice. He's going to have a Hex, and this is really, I think, entirely designed for the Tiny. Tiny doesn't have a BKB. If he goes for one, it means he has a lot lower damage output than if he goes for some kind of a DPS item. If he goes for a DPS item, well, he's going to be so prone to getting just focused and burst down while hexed up.
I mean, in perspective, this is a Magnus that has went Blink Arcane first, completely standard, into a mech for the team, into a Scythe of Ice, and if you want to scroll over and look at Tinker right now, he's not even got his own Scythe, so this is how far ahead the Radiant team is. But I'll just go back to my point, despite the huge lead that Zenith, or that IG is having right now, Zenith just needs some time, just one extra kill to buy themselves that extra time, because Roshan's coming back soon as well, so if you get those critical kills, if you get the map control just for that minute or two, the game could begin to turn. But again, you're hoping that against IG, who have they made any mistake? They made some interesting play. I talked about not using the global for the Shadow Fiend on the bot lane, which gave Zenith perhaps an avenue. I mean, the door maybe swung open a tiny bit for Zenith to take the lead, but I mean, they use a global on the top lane to get a couple kills. And maybe that tier 2 push was kind of questionable for IG, where they whiffed the global and did nothing and had to back off. But these plays, I don't see IG making them continuously, and if you're Zenith, you can't pray for those mistakes continuously either.
Yeah, and I think the main mistakes coming out from IG have sometimes been using too many spells to get a kill, like the Jug Omni Slash at top lane, being a bit too conservative and safe with their approach. But right now, I don't think there's any fault in that. I don't think you can really even consider it a mistake. You just look and say, well, they didn't need to use that spell, but they did. So what? They're still getting... The kill is getting them further ahead, even though they used a spell they didn't have to. Maybe it means they can't end the game in 35 minutes. Instead, we're going to see them end the game maybe in 40 to 45 minutes. But end of the day, this goal graph has been just going up and up in IG's favor. There hasn't really been any dips downward apart from a single kill, except for one point it looks like when Miracle got himself that T1 mid tower earlier on. So Zenith have just not been finding the kills, the openings whatsoever. And we can see, I mean, the two big culprits, it's Yamate and Ice Ice Ice. They just have not been able to get involved in this game. Yamate on Tinker's been in 1 of their 7 kills. Ice 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 has been in 3 of them at least, but these heroes have just been shut down well by IG, and it was right from the start. The TP in from Chuan sort of set the tempo for IG, and from there, it was only the Tiny who they had to worry about, and Tiny alone, it just does not pose a threat. He needs backup in the form of Tinker and Darkseer. Man,
that just reminds me of that song, that line, "We are the ganker." I mean, that's again a 2.5 minute TP from a support Chuan. I gotta say though, I talked about the RP, the Blink RP as well, Shadow Blade, Shadow Fiend, really preventing the split push coming out from Zenith. But more importantly, look at Chuan. He's had that gem for, I want to say, 5 to 10 minutes, at least 5 minutes. And they were able to shut down a ton of map control. And how are they using that map control? Well, you see the supports and whoever basically farming the enemy jungle, making sure they get a tiny bit of farm out of their own jungle as well. And basically, Zenith is getting about 1.5, 2 waves out of all 3 waves on every 30 seconds. Meanwhile, IG is getting, I want to say, every one of it. So it's really, really tough for Zenith. They're actually getting out farm as we speak right now, being turtle in their base. Yeah. And that's why the goal lead is still continue to be stretched upwards.
IG getting every single wave as well as the enemy neutrals, not really spending much time in their own neutrals, but they're sort of preventing Zenith from even leaving their base. You can see Ice Ice Ice, Lina, the Ice, Shadow Demon, they're just hovering around their own base, basically waiting for IG to make a move. And when you're entirely responding to your opponent's actions, it's not a good position to be in if you're Zenith.
Yep. And meanwhile, Shadow Fiend has, speaking of his farm, up to 4,600 gold, and I don't even know what his next item choice will be. It's actually kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, maybe Manta style, but he could just go for something like well, you're not really looking at Satanic when you've got the Mask of Madness, but even just some raw damage, something like a Daedalus, just so you can bring down heroes in 2-3 right clicks. So I think all in all, IG are in a very comfortable position. Juggernaut, he's picked up Heart of Tarrasque. I don't know if you mentioned that, Lumi.
No, I haven't. I did not even realize it. Well, he's going to be that frontline tank, and I think Juggernaut normally don't pick up this item, but the way that this game is progressing, they need another hero up front. Kind of like a lifestealer in a sense, to hit that tower, back off, regen some HP, and go right back at it. There's the Aegis being easily cleaned up for IG. And I think this might be the beginning of some big pushing coming out from IG.
Yeah, I think it's like you say with the heart. It's going to help them push a whole lot. Uh-oh, Lina. That could be a gem loss. Chuan, does he have anything to follow this up with? Ice. Looks like he's going to get out of there. Sorry, well, not Ice. Just Ice, the Malaysian. The single Ice. And IG with the Jug heart, with the SF Aegis, this is where they can slow siege. Jug can even be on the front lines as well. Like you say, the heart gives him the HP survivability he needs.
Well, IG showing no respect to the fact that there is a lower HP tower up top. They're like, you know what? We have such a big lead, it don't matter. Mask of Madness being popped, gonna go straight in. Blink, Scythe on Miracle, and Miracle, well, he's not as tank as you think he is. He's gonna get skewered backward out. He's dead.
He's got buyback, but unfortunately he's gonna have to use it now if they want to hold him. Buyback comes out immediately. Glyph also gets used, so Zenith have just thrown away a lot of tiny gold. Glyph as well, and all the ultimates for IG sold. They've still got Global Silence, they've still got RP. Omni Slash is there, everything is there. The only thing maybe on cooldown is going to be that mag screw for another 5-6 seconds, and that's not really a big issue. And there's going to be a vacuum wall of replicas. This is going to be enough. Zhou taking a lot of damage on the front lines. He has got the Aegis regardless, and it did some decent damage, but it's not going to be enough. Ferrari scythed up, force-staffed out by his teammates, so the support play is there. Yamate's still blinking and looking to keep spamming those rockets, and well, he's going to get himself out of there. He's hexed up once again. Scythe Vice coming out from Ferrari, although there's no follow-up. Zenith in. They're still in trouble. The Aegis is still there. We'll see maybe some heals coming out. We need another Juggernaut healing ward, but Zenith, this hold is just proving to be a real big struggle for them.
It might be a fairly impressive hold now with the Ice getting cut out like that. Can make it out the shockwave with the blink. It's going to seal the deal. Free gem pickup here for Fate. I got to say, though, because they were able to pick up a Miracle basically for free. They only use Skewer as well as a Hex. Well, their ultimates are all on cooldown. I thought that was it for Zenith. And they were able to hold at least for a bit, but with that said, they still lost Alina. The tower is dead, no more Glyph, and Shadow Fiend, once he's healed back up, he's gonna just walk up the hill like that. Easy racks.
Yeah, he's going right onto those racks now. He's got up to 7k gold. Ice gonna get skewered his way out of there. He may actually escape this. He was surged for a bit longer. Nope. Last word finishes him off, and now Zhou on the front line doing all the damage he could hope for, as Tiny just does not have the items, does not have the options to defend this. Zhou, melee rack's going to go down and probably start working on the range racks. May even look to rotate top soon. He still has the Aegis, and as a result, Zenith is just a slow and painful death for them. Yep.
I mean, that's already two deaths, or 3 deaths and 2 buyback. And here we go. Miracle trying to go to work, but the BK became right off of cooldown. And Miracle's on the run. Zoe is just the biggest, baddest hero on the map, and there's just no way you stop that. And here we go. Rax attempt number 2 on the top lane. There's that low damage tower, really paying dividends now. And I think IG's got this game.
Yeah, Blink RP, there we go. This is going to secure the deal if they can get this. Skewer going to kill off 2. They get Tinker as well as Lina. Tanya can just stand there and watch. RP not going to be up at the time being. SF going to get tossed out. Takes down Silencer. Nice bit of play from Miracle. The BKB pick up for him has managed to buy Zenith some time, but unfortunately it's only Tiny left standing. Aegis is there. Aegis gets popped. Silencer goes down. Immediate buyback. And well, this looks like the end for Zenith.
Yeah. I mean, still a very impressive hold considering how far they're down behind, but it was a tiny buyback. It was a Darkseer buyback. They might have hold then, but it was not a long-term victory in any sense. So they're going to pick up Miracle once again. That's the nail in the coffin. And IG looking, I don't want to say looking perfect, because they made some mistakes. Maybe forced mistakes coming out from Zenith. Nice toss here from Chuan. Chuan has a good arm. He plays basketball.
Well, he used to, unfortunately.
Well, hey, when your ankles is, you know.
Well, I feel that it was, I mean, the Tiny pick was a bit of a gamble, a bit of lag coming out there. Tiny pick was a bit of a gamble, and unfortunately for Zenith, I don't think it was the Tiny pick so much, it's just the way that IG played it. They just really moved around the map well. The support play was the deciding factor. Zenith's supports played actually really well, and to me, they kept Zenith in the game this long. It went for 42 minutes thanks to them, but it wasn't enough when all said and done.
Yeah, for me, the turning point, maybe, well, not the turning point, but it's just an awesome point of the game was that 2 and 30 TP, like, yeah. I don't expect stuff like that, and I don't think Ice did either, so any kind of early game dive, maybe in game 2, like, is that in the back of your head? I gotta say it might be.
It's something where it so rarely happens that you'd expect a support coming in. Ice is probably thinking that he's got a potential solo kill, or at least he's put Zhou in a really tough position as far as getting harassed down, and he's thinking he's won the lane, but that's a single TP in. Something that I think IG were almost expecting, because the way Ice lanes is very aggressive, and they were probably saying, Zhou's probably telling his teammate, Zhou is the in-game captain, he's probably saying, look, Ice is going to get really aggressive, this isn't a lane that I can just win on a head-on 1v1 with this start I've had, get a TP scroll and I'll bait him in, and he did just that.
Yep. And that's game one here. IG, of course, both these teams are 2-0 in the group stage. The winner of this game goes straight to the LAN final. So a huge best of 3. IG leading 1-0. Zenith, they can strike back. They've been winning against IG a lot in scrims. Well, this is not scrims. They got to prove it to the world that they can do it in official as well. We'll be back for game 2. This has been the Beyond the Summit presentation. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. Don't go anywhere, guys.